Thank you. So just I was explaining, that HTTP, HTTPS related things, and you need to understand the message formats also, request and response message formats also. And nowadays, most of the applications are secured applications. Now the trend is that even though Facebook is not having that much of this thing, but sharing even others' information, meta information, it's security kind of a breaching. So that is the reason most of the application runs over HTTPS. And again, there is a security mechanism, authentication, HTTP cookie sessions, and web caches. That and all we will understand. This is there is a session for this also. Okay. Now we will come to JMeter. So I was explaining that why JMeter is such an important tool, because there are a lot of great features. JMeter is first of all open source tool. Most of the organizations prefer JMeter for their load testing activities. To give some of the examples, even Citibank or Toyota, and these are all the main big companies choosing a JMeter over other, licensed version. This thing. Now, why it is so popular nowadays? Because JMeter was there from the beginning. Just 5 years before us it was there. But why it is so popular nowadays? Because it's one of the high priority Apache project. Okay, open source project. And this is having a very big open source community. Even if you have any kind of issues, you will get a resolution over the web. Okay, you don't have to try too hard or something to find out some solutions for this. And it supports multiple protocols, not only HTTP, HTTPS. If you want to do a database testing, you can do it. Even if you want to do a load testing on a file-based system, FTP systems, you can do it. Even if you want to do a web services testing, you can do it. Because they've extended the features in such a way that you can do the main core different types of applications. And not only that, nowadays what happened, right? Blazemeter is one of the cloud-based solutions. So they are also promoting JMeter like anything. Why? Because Blazemeter mainly just they are concentrating on pump the user load on a cloud-based. For example, if you don't have a physical infrastructure, you can just upload your JMeter scripts on the cloud-based solution, whereas Blazemeter, and you can run the load test for even 10,000 users, 15,000 or 20,000 users based on your requirement. Okay. So they are also promoting JMeter like anything. If you just Google it around like a Blazemeter, JMeter, you'll get to know that a lot of features about JMeter. Even they are also sponsoring JMeter like anything. These are all some of the key factors why JMeter is so famous nowadays. So that is the one thing. And from learning perspective also, it is very easy. Because load runner, or if you take a VSTS and all, just to configure or even to begin with the scripting itself takes a lot of time. You need to understand to install it and to to do a lot of steps. And again, these are licensed versions. If you have any issues, again you need to go back to the vendors. In such a case, what happens, right? You need to wait for the vendor's response. You don't have a big open source community for those things. And now today I'll explain this JMeter only, how to set up a script team is agenda scripting. I'll explain in at a high level, okay, so that you will have a chance to look and feel about a JMeter. Okay. And this reporting and interpreting results, anyway, this is one of the crucial component which we are going to cover in our training program. Because just as I told you, learning a tool is not a big thing in performance testing. There are other things you should know, to be an effective performance test engineer. So this is something like how to monitor the counters and how to do an analysis on the error rate if you have received, what kind of errors it is, and hits per second, how the arrival pattern is happening, and what is the response time you are getting, whether it's SLA breached or not, and throughput analysis from the server and how many transactions it can handle at any point in time. And there are some system counters like CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk idle time, and so many things. And again, this thing, if you are working on a .NET technology with .NET related, there are counters. So many steps are there you need to understand. That and all we will explain it on interpreting results and reporting section. Okay. Now let me directly, go back to the JMeter. How to? I'll tell you. What you have to do now, just Google it, JMeter download. Okay. Okay, this is the link where you will get a JMeter software. Okay.
Dinesh, your screen isn't visible.
That's what I'm looking. Why it is not visible?
Dinesh, what you can do is you can go to share screen again. Okay. And
Yeah, desktop I share.
Yeah, choose the window which you want to share.
Yeah, now can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, fine. So this is the website. Just if you Google it around, right? Just JMeter download. If you Google it, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, just type JMeter download, and first URL itself you have to pick it up. Just you click on that particular link. Okay, you'll navigate into this screen. Okay, always you will get the latest versions of the JMeter. Okay, now current version is 2.13, and they're telling request Java 6 or later. This is a JDK or JRE version. Suppose if you are writing some plugins to the JMeter, because we have an option, you can write your own plugins if you know the Java language. In such a case, you need to have a JDK. Otherwise, JRE is enough. So you need to have a Java version about 6 or later. Even I think 8 is there already. What you have to do now, just you have to give this thing, Apache JMeter.zip is there, right? That you have to download it. Okay, just click on this. Okay, it is taking time here to download, but I have already downloaded in my machine. Okay, after that, just you will get a zip copy of that software. What you have to do, just you have to extract it. Once you extract it, you will get to see the folder structure like this. Apache JMeter 2.13. Currently, this software is there in my D drive. Okay, so we have a different folder structures inside a JMeter folder. That is a bin folder, docs, extras, lib, or something else and all. So here also you can see that. Okay, now it's got loaded, but anyway, let it be now. Just you need to extract like this. Okay, and if you are using any extra this thing, they have already created some extra plugins. Okay, open source community have created so many plugins that you can just put it over here under lib directory, libraries files, or even if there is some extensions, you can put it in your ext directory, ext folder. That's all you have to do. Then what you have to do now, just if you want to start a JMeter in a bin directory, if you navigate it to bin directory, there is a batch, Windows batch file. If you double click on this, it will open. Okay, but normally here it takes time, and you don't have to navigate each and every time to launch this JMeter. This is just a JMeter, very simple. There is no setup required, there is nothing required. Just you need to extract the zip file so that you can start scripting. And what you can do now, just you give this bin path in your Windows environment variables, this thing path, property. What you have to do, just right click on computers, go to properties section, advanced system settings. Here under advanced, there is environment variable section. In this tab section, again, you just come back, come down here. Here there is a path parameter. There you just give the path of the JMeter. Okay, this is the just till bin directory give. Once you are given this path, what will happen? You don't have to go to the each and every time to the bin directory to launch the JMeter. Instead of this, just open the command prompt and type a JMeter. So what it does, the system, it picks the JMeter path from that path directory and it will launch the JMeter. This it's very simple, After that, what you have to do now, already there are some templates here. Okay, If you want to, do a recording, you can take a recording template, a reload template, or create or something you can give. So it already loads, and even already HTTP script recorder game. These are the default templates which already there as part of the package. You can try, and for recording and even for load test and all, it is there. JDBC load test, that is a database related load test. And if you want to write something in a sampler, Bean shell sampler, the beauty of this JMeter is that if you don't know even Java language, if you want to try some other customization, if you don't know Java language also, if you know JavaScript, that is enough. Even if you don't know JavaScript, if you don't know any programming language also, it is not a problem, because unlike other load testing tools, this is having most of the customized components where you can use directly and implement in your project. You don't have to even learn a programming language also. And these are all the different templates which you can use it. Okay, now I'll just close this template, because just I will show you from the beginning how to do it manually. Don't save this. Okay, add thread group. Here thread group means user group, that's all, nothing, there is no difference. Threads means users. Okay, if you want to run the load test for 10 users, you can give a 10 users load. And ramp up period is something, if I give a 10 seconds, okay, in 10 seconds this 10 users will be on the system. Means they are ready to access the system, so sessions will be created by that time. Means each and every second, 10 divided by 10, so every second one user will be ramped up in the system. That's all you can do here. Okay, and there are so many controllers. It will just control the flow of execution. Okay, if there are condition, you execute this. If there is no condition, execute this. And if you want to loop the particular script, you can do that. There's so many features which we are going to explain in coming training programs. But today's main focus is on how to record the script and how to play the script. That is a very important task, because that is a basic task, what I can say. For that, what you have to do, go to Workbench, add, right click on the Workbench, click on add, and there is a non-test elements component. Under non-test element components, there are 3 again subcomponents: HTTP mirror server, property display, and HTTP test script recorder. What is that mirror server and property display? Now it is not required, that we will explain it in training program. But this HTTPS test script recorder, this is the main thing. As the name indicates, it records the scripts, because normally why we are using a load test tool? To simulate the user actions, and not for a single user, for multiple users. That is the reason we need a script. Okay, so to develop a script, you need to have one plugin or one component. So for that, we have a HTTPS test script recorder component. By using this particular component, you can record your scripts. Again, team, like JMeter is a beauty. Like there are other tools also, like a Bad Boy. If you use a Bad Boy, means partially it's a license version tool. If you record some of the things or any activities, web application activities, by using Bad Boy, then you can export that particular script into JMX format. What is JMX? JMeter XML format file. Means mainly the JMeter executes the JMX files. And this is also test recorder. This thing, from here you can record the things. And even sometimes if you don't know inside what parameters to pass, how to correlate and all that, anyway we will explain in the training program. There is one more tool, proxy tool, that is called a Fiddler. You can use a Fiddler also to see the request and response formats. Based on that, you can customize even JMeter scripts also. Now what we are doing here, this is simple. Here we are telling target controller, means where exactly the recorder scripts will sit. Now I don't have recording controller here. I'll add a recording controller. Means whatever the recording you do, that particular script will get generated under this particular controller. For that, what you have to do, you go here, Workbench, HTTPS script recorder, and recording controller. Why I'm choosing this particular option? Because you see here hierarchy. First Workbench will come, HTTP test script recorder. Okay, I'll show it in this way. Now only you can see Workbench. After that, you can see HTTP test script recorder. And if you expand this tree, again you will get to see the recording controller. That is the hierarchy which is there, which automatically gets generated here, target controller. And there are so many options, like if you, each and every activity, if you want to group, there's a grouping section, put each group in a new controller. but we will understand the more detail on this particular thing also in our training program. And this is a transaction controller. What is transaction is all about, that I'll explain it in a prerequisite training program. Okay, there are a lot of features. Okay, here there are a capture HTTP headers, because each and HTTP request will have a header section also. So it captures a HTTP header section. So there you can even customize your header information also if you want to pass some authentication details or whatever it is. And assertion is something like checkpoint, whether you got a proper response from the server or not. Because there is an expectation, right? Like when you log in, you should get your own page, not in some other's page. For that and all, you need to do a validation. That and all, you can do a add assertion. What is the use of while recording click on add assertion means it adds the blank assertion into your scripting. This and all, I'll give a practical demo in our training program, but let us understand the basic thing now. Okay. Now what I'll do, just I'll click on, these are the filtering times, because when you start simulating any actions on your web applications, right, each and every request will get recorded, but I don't want each and every script. I want to exclude some of the things, because BMP, some images, files and other stuff, I don't want to get it recorded. So that is the reason I'll just exclude it. Suppose if you include any URL pattern, no, that particular patterns URLs only will get recorded. So that is the reason the best practice is to not to give anything under URL patterns to include, but if you want to exclude some of the things, just exclude over here. Okay, and after that click on start. Now your script works will start. Now you see here it's saying that the root CA certificate. What is this certificate is all about? Just I'll give a brief introduction about this. When you run any application over HTTPS, okay, certificate is very much required, okay, in order to have a successful communication between a client and a server. What happens, right, when you ping to any of the servers generate a certificate, and that certificate should be certified authorities, okay. In that certificate, normally you'll get to see that domain name and the expiration date, and that particular certificate should be imported into your browsers, means client, so that client will search that particular domain and it will send the request, future request. So now what J is doing, why it is generating, because we are developing a script. How it will develop the scripts? Because browser is a client and server is somewhere else, but it has to generate a script. In such a case, JMeter virtually sits between the client and a server. What it does exactly, it acts as a server for a browser, okay, but it acts as a client for a server. Means it is there in between. It's like a proxy. Any proxy tool you take, those tools act as like that only. So JMeter is also acting like that only. Even if you see that HTTPS test script recorder, in earlier version it was like a HTTP proxy recorder, something was there. Server, yes, it was there like that. Now they have changed the name. Okay, this certificate got generated. Now I want to see where that certificate is generated. For that, go to bin directory. Okay, this is the certificate. Okay, root CA. Sorry, this is the one, security certificate. Okay, what you have to do, you have to import this into your browser before beginning to develop a script. For that, what you have to do, tools, options, advanced, under network settings, because the flow will not be same in IE or in Chrome also. But the thing what you should understand, how to navigate into the network section. There, go to settings. Okay, here you just type it as localhost 8080 and just select a manual proxy configuration. That's all you have to do, nothing else. And after that, you have to go to certificates, view certificates. Here, just import that particular certificate. If you see here, I've already imported the certificate. Okay, what you have to do is just import and select this particular certificate. Okay, open. Okay, click. Okay, this import is successful. Click on OK. So now we have imported a certificates. Here what you have done, you just created a proxy settings. Use proxy settings means JMeter, now this browser first will send a request to the local host. That's what we have mentioned here. Okay, local host. What is the local host? Now local host is the JMeter. Okay, whatever the action you do on the browser, that request will get fired into this thing. This in turn captures those requests and sends the request to the server. Again, from the server, it takes back the response and give the response back to the client. So now what you have to do, there's one more beautiful component is there, listener. Listener means where you will get to see the request and response format. So for that, we need to have a view results tree. That best practice is just use a view results tree for only for a debugging purpose. But during a load test, don't use this. The simple reason being that it uses consumes lot of resources. We don't want during a load test, to consume lot of resources. For that, we have a different, listeners. Mainly, you can use aggregate listener. Aggregate report is there. Okay, this you can use it. Or view results in a table. This also you can use it. And moreover, when you are running for 1,000 users or 2,000 users, just you use a simple data writer. Okay, say otherwise save response to a file. So it will save the results into it will write the results into the file. You don't have to open even JMeter also. Just through command prompt only, you can just instruct the JMeter to run the load test. That is one of the beauty of this tool also. Now I've already started. So what I'll do, I have a URL over here. Okay. Already setup is done. That's all the setup is all about. Nothing else. Just only 2 or 3 steps. Now what I'm doing, I'm clicking on this URL. Now you got this page, but at a JMeter level, we will see whether it is recording or not. See, under recording controller, the script got generated. stagingboard.canvas.com. So this is how we need to, generate the script. Now, if you see, there are some Google Analytics page and all is coming because other servers information is coming. What you can do if you don't want this kind of information to be recorded, because it is not related to our server, only which is related to our server, only this one is the related to our server request. This is not our server request. So you can eliminate during a scripting stage only. Just what you have to do, click on add. Okay, in exclude pattern, put that. And since a dot is used in our JMeter expressions, so do a escape sequence. That's all you have to do. Okay, and even google.com will not come. If you do any changes in between recording time, so that time you just restart, so that the change, whatever you have done, right, that will be updated in your configurations. Okay, now I'll delete this because I don't want to see this Google Analytics. Let us see how it works. And you see this one, just I'm just using a shortcut key. Okay, Control E and Control R to run the things. Okay, here also it is there. Start. Okay, clear all. This, if you use clear all, there is a shortcut key is Control E. So the results will get cleared from the view results tree section. I'll show you since one request got generated. See, when I clicked on clear all, got wow. Yes, again it's coming. That JoPM something is coming. That anyway, it is not recording in our scripts. Then we are fine. Okay. Now we have done a restart. Okay. Now I'll go. I'll hit the same URL. Just I wanted to see Google Analytics are coming or not because I've included that in a exceptions or excluding section. See, this Google Analytics again is coming. We will see why it is coming. If still it is coming, then there should be some wrong with our patterns. Okay, here what we are using, that pattern that we have to see, that's all. Okay, normally it will not come. Okay, now it is not coming. See, it is not coming. So we should give a proper pattern, that's all, in under URL patterns to exclude. Now I'll show you one more thing. Now it's not grouping, but I want to group it under a new transaction controller. Put each new group in the, means these two requests will come under one transaction controller. Means these two requests comprising of one transaction. Because what is the transaction I have done on the browser? Just launch the URL, launch this course. Okay, now I have to do a restart again because I've changed something there. Okay, now click on this thing. Now if you see here, this is the transaction controller. You will get to see here, you see, right? You can give any name. Okay, launch application. Okay, so again, that standardization, giving a standard naming convention to the transaction, that and all we will explain, okay, in our training program, so that you will be expertise in JMeter. That's what we have to do. Now I'll just record a even simple flow. Okay, I'll do a login also, and I'll do a logout afterwards. Okay. See now, this particular login transaction is recorded in a different transaction controller. So that is the beauty of this using this particular feature. Okay. Now what I'll do a logout. Okay, it got logged out, but it navigated back to different URL. Initially it was staging, now it is redirected back to techcanvas.com. See that logout is came here. Now what we have to do in order to have a successful thing, right? I'll tell you. This cut it means to cut it, Control X. Okay, put it under thread group. When you are running any scripts, that has to be under thread group. Why? Because in thread group only we can configure the user load, whether we can run it for 10 users or 20 users. And after that, here you give a listener to see that whether your script is getting successfully run or not. That you have to check over here. But one thing I'll tell you guys, is any tool you take it up, after recording, if you simply run, it will not run. Why? Because there are some settings, there are some things which we should do, that is like correlation or parameterization you should do manually. What is that correlation and parameterization? I'll tell you. Why? Because this view state ID is there, right? This ID we need to get it from the previous request response, and we need to pass it, because these are all the dynamic values. If it is a static value, no, there is no problem. If it is a dynamic value, then you have to do a correlation. Correlation means getting this particular values from the previous request response body and passing it over to the future request sections, header section or body section. Okay, that you have to do. That also is a big, very good concepts that also come in detail. We will explain it in the training program, but today just we will do some kind of a correlation over here. And you see after that, this is also related to our servers. If something is not related to our servers, just disable it for time being. And sometimes we don't know whether our particular server internally talks with other servers or not. If that is the case, then you need to have a word with the developers or architect group whether we have to include other servers request or not. Okay. Now for time being, what I'll do, I'll disable these things, this request. And this kind of a feature is there only in a JMeter. In other tools and all, you have to straight away delete it. But here we have a feature like, where if you want, you can disable it and again you can enable it. Means it's in an easy way. There you have to go to the codings and you have to comment it, uncomment it. That is not required. Just, in one key step, you can do this. And here also you see whether it is tech canvas anyway, it is related to ours. Okay, these three requests are related to our server only. Okay. Now what we'll do, now I want to identify whether this particular request from where it is coming. That is the reason I have put view results tree in the debugging stage. Okay, during recording time I wanted to see whether that particular response data is there or not here. Cool, it is there. And you can see, right, that id is a view state and value is this one. You can see the same thing here also. This is the parameter name view state and value is this one. So let us do a correlation. This is what the correlation concept. Okay, take this value, just put it here. Okay, there is one component called regular expression extractor. Okay, so in this request only we got it. Add post processors regular expression extractor. This is one of the components. By using this we can extract any values. I'll tell you one more thing, guys. Recently even load runner or even VSTS or even some of the latest trending load testing tools have captured or even have implemented the concept they have copied from the JMeter. Okay, we can say easily that initially there was no regex pattern kind of a extraction in even in load runner, and not even till 2010 VSTS also. In recent versions they have implemented this feature, but this is very helpful. I think we have learned in college days also how to build a string using a regex pattern and all. We have seen that. Here we are using just for extraction purpose. Now what we have to do? See, now I want only this value because other values I don't want. In such a case, what you have to do? Take a copy of this once again, just for my reference purpose. Okay, just what you have to do, dot plus question mark. Okay, now this captures the request, sorry, value. Give a regular expression. In this field you have to give a regular expression. Okay, now you see right here, I'll explain it at a high level. Main samples only means this is the main sample. Okay, for example, if you are using a retrieve all embedded resources, means what will happen sometimes if there are any embedded resources for this thing CSS files or JS files or image files, that also will get downloaded. And if there is a redirection mechanism, then the main URL will be somewhere else. This is just it will just get you the redirection URL. Again, internally it fires that redirected URL and it will get the actual response. In such a case, what you have to do, if you are building a regular expression, you have to give main samples and subsamples or subsamples only. So that and all we will explain it later, but now it should work fine because we don't have any other embedded resources attached to the main request. Reference name, anything you can give, but it should be very easy to understand even whoever reviews your code or that scripts. So what are they? View state ID only I'll give. Okay, and template means nothing else. Okay, just give a $1 over here. Template means this groupings. What will happen, right, when you have a multiple groupings, if you want to capture a multiple values in the same template, then you can give a $1, $2 or something like that, and that particular format will come. That anyway I'll explain it in a training program. Now it will be too much information for you guys to understand. 0 means random over here, means if there are multiple matches with this particular regex pattern, then it selects any one of the values. Okay, if you give a numbering something like 1, 2, 3 or no, then it will go to that particular occurrence and it will capture the value. Okay, first particular pattern's value or second value or something. If you give a -1, right, it will take all the values. This is very helpful when you are doing a for each, when you are implementing a regex with a for each controller. I'll explain where it will helpful in our next training programs. Okay, default value. Suppose if this fails, okay, if it is not able to capture because improper expression building or even wrong format or whatever the reason, that time what value should supposed to be displayed in your script? So not found. This value will get displayed. Okay, Now what I have to do, I'll take this Control C, I'll pass that into the here. So when you are passing any reference JMeter reference variable, right, it starts from $sign, opening flower bracket, and reference name and closing of flower bracket. This is how it works. And you can give here that group 1, group 2 and all we can give, G1 also we can give, otherwise simply view state ID also if you give, in such a case it works. But I have a better practice, give a view state ID G1. G1 is group 1, that is a standard format. Reference name, next underscore, next G1. Okay, now next the value of what I want to capture is this one, Control C, and again I'll verify over here whether I have that value or not. Click on find. Okay, I have a value here, so I need to capture this also. So what it is telling, ID view state generator. Okay, this also we can capture. And I'll show you one more beauty, because you don't have to, even if you don't know anything also you can test it over there only. That also I'll show it how it works. Just remove this. Sorry. This one is view state generator. Okay. Next, I want to see this value, because these are the dynamic values. As I told you, whatever the tool you use, you have to correlate like this only. Irrespective of any tool, you should understand some basic concept, correlation, parameterization and all. This is how it works. So here also you can take event validation. Okay. Okay. Just build one more regular expression. Event validation. Okay. Now dynamic values already captured by using a regular expression extractor. Okay, this is done, and we have to see any other values which we are doing. Okay, these are the user supplied parameters. You see, these are the what is that, email ID and password which I supplied from our this thing screen. So for that, you have to go for a parameterization. That is the difference between a parameterization and correlation at high level. When you have to go for a parameterization, when you have to go for a correlation concepts at high level is this one. When you have any value, if you want to capture from the response body, in such a case, you have to go for a correlation. If you are passing any values from the client side, then in such a case, you should go for a parameterization. Okay, this value anyway, we will supply it from the parameterization end, that we will do it later. Now, just I wanted to tell one more beauty of this, you don't know whether this particular pattern is correct or not, whether it captures the value or not with state ID. In such a case, go here. Okay, here there's one more component called rejects tester. So put your format here and click on test. See, the value got captured. So then you can easily say that your script, your particular pattern or reject pattern is proper. Because you can test it for any other thing also. I'll just, one more thing I'll go for. But in other tools, no, normally you have to, run the scripts and you need to identify. But here, before running the scripts only, you will come to know. See, here also this value got captured. Okay. And one more thing, like other tools, what you can do now? Here, after this, right? You add one more sampler is there. That is what we call it as debug sampler. This is mainly we use it for a debugging purpose. Means what and all the values we are passing from the request side and what and all the values we are getting from the response side, and even how reject pattern is working, how each JMeter reference variable, what kind of a value it is holding, that and all we can see now. So now let us just run this script. Okay, we will see how it works. Afterwards, we will see that this full name and all. To run this, just go over here, click on start. So it's just prompting that you should save this particular test script before starting the, running the test. So what you have to do, if you have your own folders, go to that folder. Okay, what I'll do, here I have a scripts folder. Inside that, okay, I'll give demo1 JMX. As I told you, the file name extension, the scripting file name extension is JMX, JMeter XML format file. Just save this. Okay. Now it is running. Okay. So this and all we will see, because again we need to do a correlation as I told you. But we have done a correlation over here for a login page. At least we should get a proper response. In this content we can put a validation check, but if you want to see in a HTML format, you can click on HTML. See now, you are 100% sure that you got your own page. After login, this is the page what you get from your screen. And one more thing, just for a update for you guys, that any load test tool will not process any Java scripts or any Ajax scripts, and that is also that is not the job of any load test tools. Okay, like client browser and all, they process the Java scripts and they do a rendering activity and display it over the user, right? That beautiful HTML page. That kind of a beautiful HTML page you will not get it over here, because JMeter will not process some of the scripts. But only why we are using a load test tools, including load runner, is mainly to find out the response time from the server. Okay, the moment when you send a request from the client to the server, until you get a complete response in terms of bytes from the server to your machine, that is what we call it as the response time. If you want to have a complete response time, if you want to measure a client side rendering time and all, know how much time browser will take and all, for that we have a different set of tools. That is what we call it as front end capturing tool, like HTTP watch and web load or page load. There are other tools that we have to integrate with our own customized framework in order to understand the browser side processing time. This is how it works, guys. JMeter, this is all about. And if you want to run it for 10 users, just configure for 10 users. Okay, give a ramp up period of 10 users, and instead of view results. Okay, before that, let me explain here debug sampler. As I told you, here you go for a text format. That reading is very easy. See here, I have given the value there, event validation G1. This is the reference name, JMeter reference name. It's already captured this value. Okay, and likewise here you see view state generator G1. It also captures this value, and view state ID, okay, G1. This also captured this value. It basically says that whatever the things you have implemented in a regular expression extractors, those are correct. And here also the reference variable name what you have given is also correct. See here, G1 and view state generator. Even if you give G1 also, it will work. Okay. And one more confirmation where you can get confirmed with that is that here you go to login page, go to request format, and see here. Okay, what is that? Here you see, because this is the post request. Again, in the web fundamentals section, I'll explain you how get request, post request, how the format will be, and those stuffs and all I'll explain in future training programs. It will be very much interesting section to understand some of the basic things. Okay, then you can correlate. Here you see in a view state variable is having this value, means value is captured properly, because nowhere that default value what we have mentioned not found, that is not displayed. It means that values are passed perfectly. Now I'll just we are already in the last portion of the today's training program. That is just I'll just configure for 10 users. I have already configured. Loop count is iteration count. Each user how many times he has to execute the same load test. Okay, since I have only one credentials, the script might fail. Why? Because any website you take it, if you want to log in, you should have a unique credentials. Suppose if you are trying for 10 users, you should have a 10 unique credentials. But whereas here for testing demo, I have only one credentials, there are chances of scripts failure. Why? Because you cannot attempt to log in with the same credentials from a different machine at the same time. Okay, that is one thing. For that, what I'll do, I'll just add, as I told you, aggregate report. Okay, this and all I'll explain in a reporting and interpreting results section. It will be a very beautiful session. Why? Because you have to understand, if you want to really get into performance testing, you should understand these concepts. What is average time? What is median time? 90 percentile means what? 95% means what? 99 percentile means what? What is the minimum response time, maximum response time? What is the error rate? What and all the SLAs you agreed upon between the client and your vendors or software listing developer? That and all you will get to see in this particular section. You will get to learn from this particular training program during reporting and interpreting results training session. Okay. Now anyway, I'll simply just you give a demo. I'll run the load test for 10 users. Okay. Run it. See here, the count will be 10. Means for all 10 users, it got executed. Okay, you will get to see the error rate. Then we have to debug what exactly is happening, whether we have to do a correlation, whether we have any dynamic values or not. If you have any dynamic values, we need to correlate. Okay, so here I think these are all the dynamic values we need to correlate. We have to do a correlation, then it works fine. This is how it executes. Even if you see here also how many requests got failed, that and all you can see, and based on that you can just debug and correct the scripts. This is a even we can do a script development using a JMeter. So yeah, as I told you, it's a very easy like a plug and play kind of a thing. You will not need expertise to just install this particular software, JMeter software, in your systems and try recording the scripts and all, and you don't to have any license version sub components, because Java is also open source. This JMeter runs on Java JDK, that is also open source, and there are a lot of plugins for this. If you just Google it now, you will get to see a lot of plugins. Just type, you see, Google only giving a lot of options. There is a one particular website only. You see, there are so many things. If you want to download, you can download this thing. These are all the very useful plugins. Put it in a particular folder, libext folder. Then you will get to see more components here. Okay, when you click on any, for example, if you click on like this, right, under each and every section, you will get to see other supporting components, plugin components, that you can use it for your load run activities or scripting activities or monitoring activities. Okay, that and all we will explain it. Even we will even give you the idea how to implement those some of the plugins in your script also. Nothing, it's like a JMeter, just you have to extract it and you have to just put it in the respective folder, so that those components you can directly use it in your JMeter. And apart from that, as per the career based, I can say that here just you type BlazeMeter JMeter. Okay, you go to blazemeter.com, you will come to know that even if you want to do a load testing, use a cloud-based solution, even BlazeMeter is giving a free option where you can test it for 25 to 100 users. Just create your own user account. Okay, and if you don't understand some of the components, they have given a very good blogs where they have written a very good blogs. Just you have to try that options. Even if you see search here, JMeter listener, that is one of the components you have to get to see. He is one of the hardcore techie guy. He writes so many blogs. Okay, see here. Even if you click any of the these things links now, you will get to see the complete details. Okay, these are all the information you get it from the from the BlazeMeter side. See, he will give you the problem statement, case study, and how you can resolve those problems or cases using a JMeter. That and all he will explain it. This is one of the latest website where you can get to see some of the tips and tricks from the BlazeMeter end. But there is an official website also for this. Okay, you can go to JMeter. This is the one. It's like a Bible for you guys to understand the concepts. Okay, there you will learn each and everything. And anyway, we will give a complete hands-on training program on a real-time project. So afterwards, you can implement those concepts in your applicable projects or in your applications wherever it is required. And if you have any doubts, you can refer it over here. If you still don't get any solutions, you can post it to me. So I'll be always there to help you out, guys. And there are certifications also. What you can do, go to vSkills. This is one of the certified website. If you have a certificate from this vSkills, and it will be an added advantage for you guys. Okay, so here you will get to see JMeters will be there. I think somewhere here it should be there. Yeah, this one. So you have to pay and you have to register for this certification, and you can have this certification. And even the current industry, so they will give a much value to this certification. Even if you want to do a certifications on load runner, You have to register in a HP website. There you will get a load runner certification. Likewise, for JMeter, we have a certification. For most of the other load test tools, we don't have a certification. But since JMeter is so popular nowadays, and every company is preferring JMeter over other licensed version tools, that is the reason they have come up with the certification this thing also, because we need to, and there are a lot of openings in a JMeter, so you will get to see that. That's all about today's webinar session, team. If you have any questions, or if you need any clarifications on JMeter on today's webinar session, please just let me know. Chat. Okay, I don't think I have any specific questions over here. Hello. Hello. Okay, team. I think I assume that there are no specific questions on this particular webinar session. I'm going to, close this webinar. Thank you, team. Thank you for joining.